Before she delivered her remarks at CPAC, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to go and speak at the America First political action conference put on by noted white nationalist Nick Fuentes. In fact, Nick Fuentes was the one who actually was on stage and introduced Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then, of course, afterwards, when it was pointed out to her, something that it's pretty obvious she already knew, that Fuentes and many of the attendees and other speakers were in fact noted white nationalists, Marjorie Taylor Greene actually defended her decision to speak at this conference. Take a look at what she said when confronted by reporters after the thing happened. Here it is.
I have got to get to the airport, but I'm glad to talk to you about this. I do not know Nick Fuentes. I've never heard him speak. I've never seen a video. I don't know what his views are, so I'm not aligned with anything that may be controversial. What I can tell you is I went to his event last night to address his very large following, because that is it's a very young following, and it's a generation I'm extremely concerned about.
It's a white nationalist group.
Excuse me a minute. I'll tell you exactly why I went. I went to talk to them about America First policies, and I talked to them about what's important for our country going forward. Now, in regards to Russia, Putin is a murderer, and he should have never invaded Ukraine.
So it doesn't matter if they're white nationalists. She says they're young folk. And she wants to bring all these young folk into the Republican Party. Well, Marjorie, I don't think you have to worry about that, because I'm pretty sure they're all already in the Republican Party. That's who you guys are now. That is your audience. I mean, you're not wrong about that. You know, going and speaking to these kids, trying to get them on your side. Oh, they're on your side. And you're on their side. And it is comical for her to be out there saying things like, oh, I don't know his views. She said, I don't know his views. And then when they told her his views, she's like, well, I don't agree with those. But she says she doesn't know him. She doesn't know anything about him, this Nick Fuentes character. But there are multiple photographs available online of Marjorie Taylor Greene with Nick Fuentes. And I know that some people can dismiss those like, hey, politicians take a lot of pictures with a lot of people, right? They get lines, people come up, get their picture, they move on. You don't know who these folks are. So maybe you could excuse that. Sure, I guess I get it. But riddle me this. Marjorie Taylor Greene has a staff that works for her, right? And I have to assume, because I've been on that side of this before, that the request for her to come speak at this AFPAC conference was not made directly to Marjorie Taylor Greene. It came to her staff. And then the staff had to approach her and ask her if she wanted to do it. They communicated with the people setting up the conference. They knew who these people were. There is no way in hell anybody working on Marjorie Taylor Greene's staff didn't know who these people were, or didn't take the time to look up and find out who they were if they didn't already know. That's not something that happens, especially for a sitting member of Congress. You vet the events that they're going to. I've had to do it many times. Like, who is this person asking us for an interview? Who is this group asking us to come speak? What are they all about? What's their history? So either Marjorie Taylor Greene refused to do any of that, which is totally plausible, by the way. Like, she's so desperate for attention, she will go and speak to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Or she already knew and didn't have to ask those questions, because she has been, again, photographed with Fuentes multiple different times. This is a guy that is right there with Marjorie Taylor Greene far too often. So she also went on Twitter, by the way, and defended her remarks. Here's what she tweeted out in a series of tweets. I am not going to play the guilt by association game in which you demand every conservative should justify anything ever said by anyone they've ever shared a room with. I'm not going to be drawn into that. I'm only responsible for what I say. So ask me about my speech. I talked about God and liberty. I'm also not going to turn down the opportunity to speak to 1,200 young America First patriots of a few off-color remarks by another speaker, even if I find those remarks unsavory. I want to embrace the young, boisterous, and energetic conservatives in our movement, not cancel them like the establishment does. Hey, listen, Marge, there's nothing wrong with canceling white supremacists, white nationalists, neo-Nazis, any of those folks. You can cancel them. Like, totally cool. Nobody's going to judge you for it except the people being canceled, but they don't matter because they're horrible human beings. See how that works? You can cancel them. Again, so desperate for attention, won't even really denounce his comments, just like they're unsavory. You know, like a bad meal is placed in front of you, but you're starving, so you're going to eat it anyway, but it may not be your favorite. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene did with this conference. May not be your favorite group of folks, but she is so starved for attention, she'll do whatever you ask her to do. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.